little bit tidier in here. We haven't done any filming in here for absolutely ages, but this bike needs a lot of work. That's probably going to have to mean that it spends some of its time in there. Looks a bit grim. It's all got a bit manky. Everything's in the way. Right. Yeah, we need to put some stuff into some in the parts washer. Could put it in the ultrasonic. Might still have to put it in the ultrasonic. Let's have a look what you're looking at. Right, I can see what you're looking at down there. Oh, where? Stick it like that. Stick it like that. I can just keep an eye on you. Right, apparently Newcastle are playing tonight as well. It is midweek, Wednesday evening. Not doing turbo. Turbo season's finished. So I'm trying to get some jobs done in here. I've got a lot of stuff. Ducati needs fixing. I think I've just mentioned that on the short. This arrived at the weekend, so you've seen this one before. It's the Pinnacle, Steve's bike, one of the athletes that I'm lucky enough to coach. So it's his main bike. He rides it through the winter, he rides it through the summer. He either competes on it or he competes on his CT bike. So you can see it's got a fairly generic setup that'll cover him for everything, but it's done a whole winter again. And it's a little bit worse for wear. And if you remember last time we stripped this down, we had a lot of problems with the brakes. There was a lot of components that were seized up. They do appear to be moving. So I don't think we're going to have that problem again, but I am going to re-grease them anyway. I am seeing a lot of got in front of them brake pads. Might be some more bloody brake pads. I am seeing a lot of rust down that there. I need to check the bottom bracket. We had problems with the bottom bracket before, and it does feel like we've got problems with the bottom bracket again. There's certainly some movement there, so we'll investigate what's going on with that. I think I swapped out that bottom bracket last time. I can't remember. Or did I just re-grease it and hope for the best? Because it's one of those flipping annoying ones. Yeah. It's an English thread because it's 3724, not 36, as I now know. It's an Italian thread. It does need a new chain. It's well past the chain again, so naughty Steve, you've let it go too far again. So we're gonna have a look, see if the cogs are, if the back cassette's knackered. If it is, we might have to stick another cassette on. If it's a 28, I'll stick one on anyway. In fact, I might give that a quick douse down with some cleaner now, actually. We'll give that a quick clean off just so I can see what it is, so I can read the numbers. I was going to clean this bike before I started, but kind of things got on top of me today, and next thing I knew, it was time to come up here, and I've not cleaned the bike. I'll be honest, I mowed the lawn instead. So 5034 on the front. I have no idea what he's running on the back, to be honest. What's that one you got? Let's not use the nice one. Let's use the nice one we're using. No, I didn't realise I've got a gas filler on that as well. Bucket to be. I've just bought a. You probably see it on the side. I've just bought a. Come on. That back wheel's buckled. Right, we need to have a look at that. So back wheel's buckled. I'll add that to the list. Front forks need to come out. I need to check those out and have a look what's going on with that. And I need to see if I can see the number on here. Looks like a 30. The biggest we can put on this. Yeah. Yeah, I was stuck with that then. So I don't have a spare 30. unfortunately, so it might need a new back cassette. That it does look a bit. Well, it's not looking that bad. The next one down could be a bit rough. Should I do with the more aggressive cleaner? The really good cleaners down at the workshop, but so it looks like I've got some car cleaner to hand here. Contact cleaner. I'll clean over it. Chain's coming off anyway, we've got to replace the chain. So first things first, let's just break the chain off. We know that's going to come off, it's miles out. I'm not even going to show you the links for it. In fact, let's get you a bit anywhere near to where the app's looking. Never mind. Never mind. Right, have we got a split pin? We've got a split pin. Put that away. Can't remember, but of course it's an 11, so it will be a split pin. And then don't throw the chain out, you're going to need that to measure. Self-extracting chain. Alright. There's me having to just going to hang that over there. A bit late now, so let's get some gloves on. These are all nicely stuck together. This will slide on well now I've got grease along the ends. So let's find out what's going on with this crank as well, because that appears to be sliding backwards and forwards. I don't know what's gone off there. Somebody's been about with that. Everything else okay. Jockey wheels. Just want cleaning. And there's a little bit of play in that free hub. I don't like the feel of that. It's very the wheels bent as well, but we can deal with that down at the workshop once we've cleaned this up. Unless I fancy doing a quick twiddle now. I might give it a quick twiddle now. It's already ready. It's going to be really annoying. Sorry, we're not being very structured tonight. Right, oops, hang on, let me just come around here. Excuse me. Right, so it's gone right over there. So these ones slacking off a tad. Oh, great. I'm kind of anticipating that this wheel's that mullered, but these aren't. It's going to be a red, isn't it? Jesus. Right, these ones slackening off a bit. Well, that's a good start, isn't it? That's one spoke snapped already. That's I would put a money on that's why it's over there and it's not. It's not, because I bet you if I type, I bet you this one's gone as well. Yep. So that's what's happened with those two. They've started to go and they've stretched at the ends. So that's why they are. That's why it's rubbing. Unfortunately. Let's see what happens with this one. So we've got a wheel to fix as well. Oh, blooming heck. I might be donating Steve another set of wheels for this bike. No, that's rusted solid. That. Yeah, I think this wheel might need a rebuild, but I'll be honest, I'm not worried. It's had a lot of use, and it's already starting to show through its wear band. So you remember this was the one where he'd been braking too low down, and it had started braking onto the rim. The brakes were set too low, and it had been using that as a thing. I fixed the hub last time, which is going all right. So that's going to need a rebuild down at the other workshop once it's cleaned. So can't do much with that. We'll investigate that free hub as well and find out what's going off with that. But I think they're loose bearings as well, so it might be that this wheel's dead, and we have to find another wheel. I'm just having a look what we've got up there. I think we might have given away all the spare wheels I had. Just a bit of a bugger. Cheap junk. Right. Yep, so there's not a lot I can do with that. I can fix it. I can replace those broken spokes, but I suspect this we're going to have to look for a little. Oh, God, Bennett. I didn't see that. I'm inclined to say this back wheel's not safe. I don't like the way that crack's showing through there. And that might need a new back wheel. Okay. Right. Let's crack on with the rest of it, see what we can do. And then if Steve wants I might be able to sort him out. I might have another back wheel. Or I can put a call out and see what's available. Right. Torque wrench. And a 5mm key. Calling out 5. Is that a 5? Look like a 5. It's not a 5, that's on the wrong way. So that's a 5. That's a 5. So that's a 5.5. So that's a 4. That's a 4.5. That's a 5. Yes. So I've got a bit of an issue with this. It's not tensioned up properly. In fact, let me spin it round so you can see what's going on. Come on, wheel, don't be a pain. Right, these are a bit of a mess as well. Let's get these off. Work out what's going on with this. See, I don't like these Praxis ones that they put on these because, well, for many reasons. But one of them is they don't have a catcher. They don't have a retaining clip like the Shimano's do. So if something goes wrong here, it stops the crank. In theory, it stops the crank from falling off. Though we know that's not true. Next, I've seen what happened to Paul's bike. The other thing as well is they're on an Allen key, and they shouldn't be really, because you should be tightening them up with a hand tight, not anything else. It still seems fairly well greased. Let's give it a quick run through the parts washer. I'll just give the bearings a quick check. There we go. See what I do with that. that sit for a bit. In the water. Yeah. Right. Let's see what these feel like. That feels alright. They actually feel okay. So I think it just lost its tension, it just slid off. So I'll just give that a quick wipe down in the areas that I can't get to normally. It's not a really aggressive detergent this, so it's okay to spray it around the bearings. Feel free to comment if you disagree with me. But I'm not blasting it in there, I'm just using it as a surface cleaner. That looks a bit better already, doesn't it? I can't believe that wheel's just exploded. Like, well, I kind of knew it as soon as I looked at it and where it was, and I looked at the state of the things. I thought, yeah, I know what's going to happen here. I know exactly what's going to happen here. We've played this game before. This isn't our first rodeo, as they say. Still got its bump guarded, as usual. That looks a little bit better. Right, over there, let's just check the... Yeah, they're moving nicely. Right. We'll just leave that in there to soak for a minute. I'll just get this headset off. I'm assuming it's a combination of 5s and 4s. So that's probably it's one of them tops I'm going to lose. I've already nearly lost it once. Let's get a parts bucket going for Steve's bits. That's the right one for that. And I need a 4. So I stuck a new stem on this frame the other day that was shorter because we did a bike fit. That's how come the bike's ended up here. Right. Get that off. Get it to the parts bucket. Get that off. Low battery. What have we got? A low battery. Got it. Right. Right. Boom. Back in the room. Slightly manky one. There we go. Shouldn't normally have to hit it like that, but as you can see, it's fairly corroded. But that's the bit I needed to get off the crush ring there. Sometimes a little bit of a bugger to get out when they've been in a long time. Right. So I need to get the brakes off as well. This should be good for a laugh. I'm not going to want to come off. Oh. They're actually turning, or are they just spinning? Should have really done this before I popped them out, but I was kind of hoping it was going to come through, but no. I think it's coming down. The look of state of it. Right, we're going to have to be careful. Loose balls. Loose balls. Look at state of them. I haven't seen any grease in a while, have they? We actually get to put some red grease on for a reason. There you go. Right, we can get some anti-seize in this and clean this hole out. I think this bike's just going to need anti-seize all over, to be honest. I've got a nice new tube too. Copper slip, I call it. I think our septic friends call it something different. Is it actually unscrewed, or is it just squeaking like a deranged squeaky thing? No, it's kind of out now. Should we lighten the load a bit? I'm just not fighting with a monocycle here. It's sort of coming out. Yay! That's it, it's making a move. Right. Just got to knock that out now. There we go. Oops, now that's my ball bearings. Got it all to the ship pile. Let's have a look at the state of that. Oh my word. We've caught that just in time. So we'll get some white grease sprayed on this just to try and preserve it. We'll get some copper slip on there and we'll get it banged together again. I just need to clean out this round there as well. I've got any wire wool. Trouble we're not working in this workshop a lot. I can't remember where everything is. I think the wire wool's in there and I really can't get to it. Oh, I can't. It's that badly mullered up. I think the best thing I can do is get a lump of this wire wool off. It's not like I'm short of it. I don't think we need to worry too much about the paintwork, to be honest. We'll try and preserve it as much as we can, but I just need to try and get some of this rust out of here. It doesn't really matter if it's pitted, to be honest. If we have to swap the ball races out, I'm probably going to switch it for a thing, but there is absolutely no grease in here. I think when it came in last time, it came in for a quick fix. It didn't come in for a full stripped down service. So I think in hindsight, I probably should have done that, but it's really suffering from rust, this bike. I don't think they are the best bikes to be riding in winter. The problem is a lot of people get bikes like this and use them as a winter bike, but the components on them are, because they're not anodized aluminium, they tend to really struggle, and they're not sealed races either, so kind of all the bearings are open to the elements. There's a little bit of grease left on that one. Right, so we're going to need some grease, we're going to need some white stuff. I've got the white stuff. I think we're going to go for old-fashioned grease. New grease gun. Instead of that great big thing we end up wheeling around. I'm going to make sure I smooth some around in here, and then I'm going to go and work some into the ball race. What I'll do is I'll rub a bit around the outside as well, just to try and protect that metalwork. And to be honest, it could do with knocking out and filing down. But again, with the bike being in the condition it's in, I'm to be honest, it's not. We kind of discussed it might be on borrowed time last time because a lot of the parts were getting worn out, and it's an expensive. It's cheaper to replace. If you've got to replace the crank and you've got to replace the cassette and you've got to replace the wheels for the cost of that, if you're buying new, you might as well get a new bike. To be honest, but let's just give this a quick. Overall, the new parts. Yes, I will clean the things off. I'm just trying to make sure we get it down there, and then we'll just rub the surface off so it doesn't look like a horrible sticky white mess. Right, what else are we going to do to the front? Right, we'll stick the bearings back in. So stick the top bearing in. You can see this has had a bit of red grease. I might have smeared some on it last time. It's not my red grease. It doesn't look the same colour. I suspect that's what was on from the factory. It's just that stuff there. It's just a good quality engineering grease. It's probably slightly better. It's slightly clear. It's a slightly gimmicky one because it is clear. Just making sure I've got it worked into all the cages. And just drop that in. Just need to have a quick look at this one now and see what state it's in. Check that the balls are moving for one. They do appear to be. So it's kind of, you need to get a scooping motion to force it into the actual runways. There's a nice lip of metal for you to squidge it into, and it'll force it in behind the belt. Well, if you just rub it in the front, it's just going to sit on the surface. You're not going to get it in behind the cage, and you want it in the cage. Right, well that should be okay. Just grab the forks. When we you can see they're pretty minging, so we'll just give them a quick run round. Oops, that's car cleaner. I'll do it anyhow. Just get some of the white grease in there, and then I'll put some copper slip in as well. It can all have a go. Right, let's stick the bearing on. So remember, the balls need to be facing upwards. The upward side of the cage goes down. Yeah, I can feel they're actually moving quite nicely, and then this fits up into the race. Make sure the handlebars are on the right side, but try to avoid getting grease all over. That should come up. Oops, I need something first. See, I need about 20 pairs of hands. The bits I need. So again, come up and under. Make sure the cables are on the right sides of the forks. That goes up. Just collected a big lump of grease. That's fine. We don't mind a bit of grease on there. It's textured anyway, so you're not going to have a problem like you do with carbon frames. Right, so have I picked up the wrong part? Right, you stay there and hold that fork for me while I find the missing. Because it bounced out. So again, I think we showed this the other day. Make sure that split pin is at the back, that gap in the retainers at the back. Main reason being is when these are under most load, they're wanting to tip that way, so you don't want them bashing into that bit. So let's just make sure all of that is nicely squeezed down. Hopefully we've not missed any bits. We'll put everything in the right way up. And we have that bit, that bit, that bit, that bit. Big bit to the bottom. Next size bit there. Forks on next. Load it up. So that, in case you don't know, that this is how they work. The whether it's a sealed race or it's a caged race like this, you still have to preload these to stop them from moving in the race. So it's pointless me trying to make sure that they are in, but it's moving quite smoothly. Yeah, I know I'm clonking it around all over the place. Yeah, I know I shouldn't be. I know the bike's not the best nick, but it's somebody else's bike. To be honest, you're not going to be able to tell on here. Actually, look at that. Can't be oily rag restoration. Look at that. It looks a million times better just for having a bit of grease rubbed over it. I think these are actually anodized in. They might not be painted. That is what is called an oily rag restoration. Right, copper slip. We are going to put plenty of this on. So this is copper grease. Like I said, I think in the States, you septics, you call it anti-slip or anti-seize. We sometimes call it molly slip or copper slip. It's a copper grease. Basically, it stops galvanic interference. So I'm putting way more on here than we actually need. I'm going to try and get some on the parts as well, just to act as a bit of a barrier. It's quite high heat grease as well. That's why it tends to get used on brakes. Let's just get these in. We're cracking through this tonight, aren't we? Actually, I've just forgotten. I need to put some on this as well. Because this is touching. This is stainless steel, and this is touching the aluminium in the forks. Because these are carbon forks, unusual. Normally, on most aluminium frames of this era, you would have carbon forks, but for some reason these aren't. That's it. Quick wipe off of all my dirty paw prints. So I've got molly slip and white grease everywhere now. Now they look a million times better already. Right, so we're just going to torque up the top bits. You might argue, do you bother torquing these? Because it's not really a carbon frame. Yes, always torque them up. Because over torquing can actually be a problem if you over torque them. If you under torque them, they can come undone. If you over torque them, the bolts can snap. And we've had one in the other day where there was a lot of problems caused on. If you remember the Saab, a lot of the problems on that was caused by it had been over torqued. 4, yep, that's about 5. Should spin that up to a 6. So we're on 6 now. I think it's 6 to 7 on this. I'm going to have to line it up again anyway, so just get into the habit of doing it, just in case I forget to line it up. At least the things are actually tightened up then. Right. Right, back in here now. Let's just give this a quick clean. I don't even know if this is turned on. Nope. Pretty grim, that. Even the parts washer's not shifting it. I'm going to replace these bolts as well. It's a weird one, this, because it's like a Shimano, but it's got an Octolink spline on it. But the Octolink splines normally go in, so it's kind of a bit of a hybrid. It's Praxis's own. Like I said, I'm not entirely impressed with these Praxis chain rings. In fact, I can't remember if this is a chain ring I gave Steve anyway. No, I have got some he can have. That's a bit better. Yeah, they're weird because they are a 5-spoke spline as well, so they're all sorts of weird conventions. Right. I think we've got that somewhere. Yeah, I think we can shove that back in. Oops. Huh. Like the fact it's pinned itself to there. Right. Hopefully that's moved around. So again, we'll just put some. Actually, I think this deserves some red grease. Great. Where have I put the red grease? I have the red grease. I think I went in the cupboard for it and didn't get it out. Red grease. So make sure we've got some on there. Make sure we've got some on there, and then we'll put some more on the splines. I know these are sealed races, but it does help keep the shit out in this application. Oh, lovely. Right, just clean the last of the residue off this. Like I said, I'm gonna swap those because they're fairly rusty and minged. I'm gonna put some stainless steel ones in. The washer's still intact, so that's okay. There's like a little washer in there, which should stay there hopefully, or it's built into that. Right, so we'll just sort that out. So I've got some salvage stainless steel bolts here. Same again. Little bit of copper slip in there just to stop the galvanic interference, so we don't get that happening again. These are stainless, so this being aluminium, I think it's a bit worse. The stainless won't rot, but it'll accelerate the rotting in the aluminium. I think that's how it works. So somebody will tell me if I'm wrong. They're a little bit tighter than the other ones. The cap's head part is a little bit bigger, so because there's a bit of residue and crap in there, they're just a little bit bindy. But that's good because it'll keep the shit out of it anyway. That's it. I feel like we're in. And the other one, quick. Oh, that one's going much better. Yeah, I don't think that one's as badly corroded, or the head on this one's slightly smaller. I think they're both the same. They look like they're ones are salvaged from a crank. They're exactly the same as the other ones. Now that one's turning in nice. Right. Let's see if we can get this on, or whether we've done it up too tight. But we need a bit of grease on there. More red grease. I think I just need to flatten off that one of these sides coming off. It wasn't it? That one feels stiff. They both feel like they're tight. Yeah, that's better. Yes, much better. Right. No other way of doing this, but we're going to get the thinking. Don't put the ball end in one of these because they don't go all the way through, which is a bit of a pisser. If you put it through, you just end up mulling the plastic. I could have gone and got a 6mm. It's a 6mm. I'm just waiting to feel that it's just starting to put a bit of friction, but I'm nothing more than I can turn with my fingers there. Because you don't want to over preload it. It will not do them any good. 5mm, 6mm and 5mm the wrong way round. Right, so this needs to be at about 12 to 14. So given we already think it's a bit ropey, we will put it at 12. Let's see what we are on 12. Oh, that's running a lot better. So I thought the bottom bracket had gone on this, but it hadn't. It just wasn't preloaded properly. I suspect this had come off. So we'll do the other side again. So keep going one side to the other, because as you tighten one side up, it takes the tension off the other, and eventually you get to a point where like that, I'm not having to do any of it. That's it. Good, good, good. Put it right down. Get the greasy paw prints off. More oily rag for that. Bit more oily rag resto for that. Get all the copper slip evidence off there. Right, I think that's looking good. I know I'm cleaning this because I suspect we're gonna bin this wheel off. I'm not very happy about that back wheel. It's just where all that corrosion is around the joint. The spokes are breaking. I think it's just it's had its life really. I think we just need to find another one from somewhere. Like I said, I might have one, but I'm looking at what that is up there. But it's a disc. I don't think I've got any others. I thought I got some more. I thought I got 2 entire sets of spare wheels, but I might have to put a call out. I suspect I used the other set I've got. Yes, I got donated a set and I used that set to build Steve's TT bike, so he's already got them. So ideally we'd get a set of deep dish wheels for that bike, and then he can put the wheels off that bike on this bike, would be the better option. But hey ho. Right, saddles, let me just have a wriggle around with this. I think the saddle's good because we've made an adjustment to it the other day, so I don't need to worry about that. What I do need to get that one off. Put more away. There's Allen keys everywhere, so we'll just do the same for this while we're here, because we know these are going to be a problem. I've just got the Allen ratchet on this rather than pissing about with this. But we're here now, and I'm stubborn, and I'm not going to admit I was wrong. I'll tell you one thing, I've got wind as well. Really bad. Sorry, I know that's very unprofessional, but these aren't made for children. Mind you, children are probably like that. It's not having it. I think there's some blue thread locker on this as well. Which it does make me wonder with that, because you should be doing them up tight enough that you shouldn't need the thread locker. But I suppose the thread locker stops it from the bolt from seizing onto the shaft of the thing. But to be honest, you're better off putting the grease on and fixing it. I have actually. Right. Just give that a quick. Right. Not too bad, these. These were the ones that were the worst ones last time, so we'll just do the same thing again. Cover the brakes up. Put a copper slip on there. There's a little bit of copper slip on there as well. With a copper slip on that. Right, that's in. Give this a quick wipe down. Like I said, these are moving. I did grease them and copper slip them last time, but I'm just putting an extra layer of white because I can spray it so it gets into all the gaps and everything, just to give it a bit more protection. Right, not so stubborn this time. And notice I'm using the ratchet and not using the torque wrench. Not really that bothered about getting these exactly set because obviously the back wheel's buckled. No. Right, I think they're good. Roughly in the middle. Well, it's not going to go anywhere, he says. Right, so that's done. That's done. All we're going to do now is stick a chain on, which is going to need a chain if he gets another wheel for it. Oh, using an SRAM chain this time. They are slightly cheaper than the thing is. This is 21.50. When I looked the other day, it was 25 for a chain. It's helpful. You've got the links actually attached to it. Normally they put them in the. Oh no, that's the KMCs that put them in the top. I'm assuming they're in the right way round. Right, so we've just got to do the usual trick of unravelling all of this and then measuring it up against the hopefully it's longer. Won't be the first time. Should be. It's very standard. So this is the KMC chain I fitted about 3 years ago. So it's had a fairly decent life, but I'm slightly disappointed in the KMC chain, so I've stopped using them now. They were a good option when they were cheaper, but and the Shimano's particularly were ludicrously expensive. You were like £40 for a chain. Right, that's the link. So they're not now these. It's like I said, these are like. In fact, if anything, I think the KMC chain was more expensive. So gone back to using SRAM and thingy. So I know it's a Shimano group set, but they are interchangeable. I've got them in stock and they are cheaper. So it's going on. I'm starting to become a bit of a fan of SRAM. I know I'm pretty much a Shimano shop. I've always have been, always worked with Shimanos. I have some fundamental issues with the mechanical SRAM group set, so I've not been any. I've not, you know. It's no secret that I think it's a fucking stupid. Sorry, very very silly idea. The way that it works, that they do their double tap shifting, because it can leave you compromised when climbing if you haven't realised you've run out of gears. And particularly as most people that are climbing big hills always keep checking their gears to see if the gear fair has delivered another one. And every time you do that, because you can't double tap, it then ends up shifting you down, which is not what you want to do when you're climbing, or shifting you up, down, into a harder gear, which is the last thing you want to do when you're climbing. Right, let's just check I've got this on the right way around before we go any further. Yep. And these have got a direction of travel, so this one has to go on that way round. You always do it from the side you're looking on. You should be able to see the writing and the arrows there, because if you look at the arrow on this one, it's going to be going backwards. You don't look at that one, you look at the one there. Now, I did see somebody saying that you just put it in there, give your thing a good whack, then it sorts these out. Personally, just use the flipping tool. Having said that, the last few times I've tried to do this on camera, I've not managed to get it to, there we go, straight in that time. I think it's the Shimano ones are a little bit tighter. Once it's folks, right, let's just see what the shifting's like. A little bit laboured. Bearing sounds a bit grumbly. Yeah, I think it's time to swap this wheel. I think it was actually about where it needed to be. One more turn. On the big ring. There we go. Got a bit of stretch there, aren't we? I just want to drop that down a fraction. 2. Right, try that. Yeah, that's too far across that. We got an adjuster on that. Assuming that's the adjuster. Oh no, that's me. Oh no, that is the adjuster. We're down as low as we can go with that one. Just remember there is another adjuster there. We should be able to make something out of that. Right, so we just check something. Right, not bad. Right, let's just try that again. Oh, it sounds a lot better now. Yeah, we just had some alignment problems. I forgot to turn the camera back on. Oh, it's much better. Let's see what it's like when we're going up now. And we'll just knock it down the tab. There we go. Brilliant. Really pleased with that. Right, so that bit's fixed. We've fixed that. We're just going to realign these up because obviously they're not. And then jobs are good. And so we'll just get it down. We'll do that. And then the next video will be me trying to do something with that back wheel, but probably not because I'm going to talk to Steve and see what he wants to do with it. I can get it back running and rolling, but I wouldn't ride it for much longer, to be honest. The spokes, the fact that we've lost two, there's another one gone there. Yeah, I can see there's another one about to go there. You can see the head's almost off it. So I'd say if I had to adjust that, we'd probably be in. I've got a funny feeling I had to replace some spokes on this last time. Right, let's get it down and let's get its front wheel on, and we'll line it up. Right, 4mm. We'll use the thing to undo this. I don't think we'd have had a problem with remembering to sort this out because it is so far off, it is unbelievable. Right. It's difficult to do this from this side. It's normally still a bit tight, to be honest. Just stuck my thumb in the spoke and caught my nail, and that's really hurting. Yeah, I know, sympathy is not expected. Right, I think that's about right. Just check that they got the tension. Yeah, we've got the tension right. So, oops, nearly. 6, 6. Not the overshot that, but it's 6 to 7. These 7 newton meters max. It says. And we're on 6. That's it. No, that's spot on. There we go. Right, don't think there's anything else we can do with that now apart from sort out that bait whale, and that's going to be a job for another day, as Ed China would say. Bring a bit of a wipe down, so we'll take it back down. Oops, white grease all over here. How have we managed that? Right. Actually, it's cleaned up quite nice. Right. There we go. Let's see if we can fix that back wheel, and then we can send it on its way. A quick bit of tidying up before we disappear off air. There, the ops are going. Right. I'll see you back down at the workshop, probably tomorrow evening. Right, as promised. Look, I've got a star over my head. I don't know if you'll see that, but on my preview, these lights is crazy. Okay, a little bit of haze on the thing. Hope you can hear me. I've switched to the DJI mic. I think there's some sound problems with you there. I haven't checked the video yet, really, but I'm sure we will. Seems everything else. Right, I spoke to Steve. We're going to replace these wheels. They're not really safe. I did think about it. But just for shits and giggles, because I've got rather a lot of these that fit. I mean, it's uneconomical. The spokes are about £1.50 to £2 each. I buy them in bulk, so I get them for probably about £1. But sounds a bit dry. Where was I going? Yeah, I get them slightly cheaper. I think we're at about £1 a spoke. But if my prediction is that as soon as we start getting into this, as soon as we touch a spoke, it's going to explode, which means it's going to get uneconomically viable fairly quickly, because buying a second-hand wheel of this type is, 40-50 quid. So you've only got to replace, at £1.50 or £2 a spoke. You've only got to do 20 spokes, which is probably half the spokes on here. I don't know how many are on here. But I'm trying to tighten that up. So it becomes uneconomical, really, because in the state the rims in, it's not really worth putting a lot of time and effort into it. But just for a laugh, I'm just going to see if I can straighten it. At my cost, I won't be passing that on. The other thing as well is if I do repair it as a wheel, I have to stand by its condition, and like I said, it's more than likely some more spokes are going to break, even if I don't touch them. 2 weeks down the line, we could have another spoke that I've not had to touch and explodes. We've had a catastrophic fail. One spoke has broken, and then it's taken a whole load of other spokes with it as well. So you kind of don't really want to be doing that when you're going down the road. If you see how badly buckled this is, you really don't want to be doing that. I mean, it could end up in the wheel with the derailleur. Apologies for the noise. I am about to stick the parts washer onto the. Appears to be working a bit better now. Glued one of the transducers on. Right, let's chuck this in here. Yeah, you can see how it's a good. It's over a centimetre out on that side. Probably similar on the other side. I'm not going to put the dial on, not worth it. What we are going to do though is we're going to take out the other busted spoke, which is, I'll find it. It is in here somewhere. There we go. I should be able to get that out now. The cassette's not there. That wheel's always a nightmare. So that's the spoke. I have got these spokes which are identical, so that's good. Just going to work out the lacing pattern on these now. So we'll tack on one at a time. So in there. So this one's like this. One needs to come in. And it needs to be going that way. And I'm guessing it needs to go in that way. Or hold on too far. The difference between that one and that one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got that one there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, that's the right one. Remember the trick I told you about last time? Get an old spoke. Put that on there. Feed it through. These are quite good because you can screwdriver them at the back if they don't come all the way through, but I think I've got enough on this one to spin it with my hands, so it is making life interesting. There we go. That thing's really noisy. I hope you can't hear that. You can just hear me. I suspect you can hear it, because if I shut up, the level meter is still on there, so I suspect it's picking me up. Now the only problem I've got with this is the threads weren't quite as long as the other ones, so I'm kind of hoping that I can still get enough tension on this. No, that sounds good. It's difficult to do the ping test because we've got so many spokes out. I might bring you a bit closer actually. Let's see what I'm doing. Right, so now we've got to have one that comes through from this side. It's all about repeating the patterns. Here. Right, so this one, I'm guessing, needs to go this way. And it needs to go underneath that one. So that'll make that spoke a bit tighter anyway. Is that right? That's right. This spoke is under that spoke is over that spoke. Yeah, so we might have to take a bit of tension off that one. So why you don't tension them up. This should happen now, isn't it? And pulls that one in a bit. Right. Yeah, I think that's right. loads. Same thing again, where's it gone? It's that difficult to find a brand new spoke. There it is. That's the one I was looking for. That's a little bit easier. Right, we've just got one more to fit in now. I'm just going to go back this one. And again, from the inside, inside that one, outside that one, into that one. I think I need to treat myself to a proper spoke screwdriver because it retains the spoke. Just to make spoke to make life a bit easier. Right, start sticking some tension on these now. See how much of a difference that's made. It's a little bit better. Right, so these two want taken across. We want tightening up. Just give them one full turn. We know they're quite a way off. And this one's the most. Give another full turn. Give this one half a turn. Give this one half a turn. Should it really loose. Then a bit more. Right. A little bit more. Not much. nearly there. So I'm just working the outer two now, because if you look where the outer two are, they're actually pulling back to the centre, so actually overloading this one's not helping a great deal. I'm just trying to put all the loading into one there, so I should be able to get the same effect by pulling those two. Not much now. Now into quarter turns. Get another one on there. Maybe to eighths per turn. So we'll pop another one. Back on the rusty one. Right, there you go. So what we have definitely got a bit of play on that, but we're not gonna touch that. Right, let's get this all put back together, and then we'll see if the cassettes come out of the bath any cleaner than I sent it in. Right. Probably would normally replace this as well, but again, it doesn't seem worth it. At best, this is going to end up being a turbo wheel, I think. That's personally what I would use it for. Just going to make sure that we put these down in the right place. liners on. Let's go and rescue the thing out of the ultrasonic. That's actually done a reasonable job of that. Obviously fixing the transducer made a massive difference for that. Sorry, I'm running backwards and forwards. I forgot I dumped all my cloths. Don't need that anymore. Don't need the busted spokes anymore. They need to go in the bin. I'll have to tidy up while we're going. And I don't have to do a tidy up video at the end. Right, over we go. Yeah, so I know I said I wouldn't do this, but just out of curiosity, I've decided to do it. Now, that's actually done a reasonable job of this. So you can see the cassette's not too bad. It'll certainly make a good spare, and you can leave it on this wheel and use this wheel as the turbo wheel, as I said. I'm just making sure I get all the crap off the mating surfaces. There we go. Still not found my missing assembly place, which is rather irritating. I'm just making sure we've got some grease on the splines just to make sure we don't get any rotting, but really this is going to end up on a turbo trainer. At least I hope it is. Personally, I still don't think it's not safe to go out on the road, and given the fact the bearings aren't brilliant as well, as we've just discovered, which I think I've said in the video anyway. I certainly marked it on the assessment sheet that the back bearings sounded rough. It's one of the problems. See, if you run a bike through the winter, you just have to accept the fact that some of the bits are going to get absolutely mullered, and you just have to live with that fact. There's nothing you can do about it. Might have been better off breaking this to pieces before we put it back together. It's got into some bits, but not others, so it might have been worthwhile just breaking it up in the parts washer rather than just chunking it in as one big block, which I did. But this just gives me a chance to check all of these. There's the big fat boy. Speed spacer. Ooh. Yeah, the problem is if you don't get these properly cleaned before you put them back together, when you talk down on it, you're talking down on the crap that's between them as well. Eventually that crap could disintegrate or come out, which means your cog's going to get loose, and then you're going to get cog chatter, which you don't want, because that tends to eat into the surface. You get a similar thing with motorbikes with the clutches. You get chatter from the clutch plates, and it destroys your basket, which is not good because the baskets aren't cheap on a motorbike, but the freewheel hub is almost as expensive on one of these, so because that's what you need to replace, the freewheel hub. And then obviously, depending on which wheels you bought, you might not be able to get a free hub for it. So I don't know which make these are, but I would like to put money on you're not going to get a free hub to fit these. And you won't bother, to be honest. Again, the cost of 40 quid for a free hub, you've just gone by cheap second-hand wheel. You can buy a brand new wheel for 60-70 quid of the same specification of this, but you could pick up a second-hand, better quality wheel as well if you wanted. So, entirely up to you. Ludicrously shiny now compared to the wheel. But like I said, if you ride your bikes in the winter, that's what happens. It's a bit of a it does work out cheaper, unless you get to the point where you are destroying a group set every winter. It works out cheaper than running two bikes because you're going to wear your parts out anyway. And if you've got two bikes, you end up buying two lots, and you will invariably end up spending more money on your bike, on your summer bike. But if you're riding your summer bike in the winter as well, you're a little bit more conservative with what you put in there. At least that's my experience of having done it for probably 10 years. I ran one bike all seasons. Never had any problems with it. Every time something died on it, I just bought another one exactly the same of what I've got, unless there was a good reason not to. So, you know, the same group set went on. That thing's a bit mullered. The same derailleur, jockey wheels went on. The same derailleur went on. The same chains went on. Even down to cables and things I replaced with exactly what was on. It wasn't until we replaced the frame on the Holdsworth and bought another Holdsworth frame that I still say I got robbed for. I'm not bitter about that in the slightest. Thank you, Planet X. We'll talk it up just to do it properly. You set to 40, set to 40. I don't care that it's an old bike. I even saw one of the supposedly guru bike fitters talked up a cassette without using a chain whip or a cassette grabber. I don't know what that's called. I call it a cassette grabber. He just talked straight onto the the poles. I don't think it's a good idea. Oh dear. So the bearings are gone in that. The bearings are gone in the hub. So, but actually, I think we've recovered that. So let me put that through there. It's a shame I can't give him the Planet X wheels I've got. My wife's using them because they've got ceramic bearings in. I had them on the. So that was a good example of something I did upgrade. I had them on that's on that side, which means direction of travel is that way round. So that should be rotation. Rotation, rotation, rotation. Come on, chip, where are you? I hate these flipping Continental tires because you can never find the bit that says rotation. It's really hard to find and read the writing on. And even after all that, it might be written on the other side. Can't believe it's not a rotation dependent tire. That reminds me, I've got to swap one of my tyres around on the Pro-Pol. Stuck it on the wrong way around like a muppet. You didn't tell me about that, did you? Rotation, there you go. So that's going to go that way round, which means that's going to go that way round. Yep. So why couldn't I find that on this side? It's not written on this side. It is actually only written on one side. That's helpful. Thank you, Continental. Try not to get my shirt on it because it will get lucky. So it should be able to. Alright. Where's the. There. do it right for once. Now to people that moan that I don't line the writing up with the thing. Personally, I think you shouldn't line the writing up. What you should line up is the bit on the tyre that says what the pressure is. That would be a much better thing to line up. Yay! That's it, we're good, we're good. See, even with dodgy gator skin tyres, you don't need a. I can't get that in. Come on. There we go. Boom. Jobs are done. Let's stick that off. Fine mixing stuff. Look at it this time. Yes, definitely. That bit there seems to be having a bit of an issue. But anyway, not too bothered about that. I suspect the tyres are going to come off and go on another rim at some point. Right, anyway, that's it. That's the other bike finished. I can go back on the Pinnacle. Steve is bringing through another set of wheels tonight. So I've just got to stick him a brand new cassette ordered because he wanted to replace the cassette. This one is showing signs of having the mid gears worn because the chain was worn, but it doesn't look as bad now we've cleaned it. So this, like I said, this is usable for the turbo trainer, so that'll be fine really. Right, job's good. Like and subscribe. Hope that was useful. Turned out to be a bit more involved. Nice to actually do a service on that bike that was quite simple. There's a lot to it. You had to break a lot of stuff off the bike and do a lot of protective maintenance on it, but actually it wasn't as bad as I feared. I thought it was going to be another basket case job like we did with it last time, where everything we touched needed replacing. So it looks like a lot of the protective maintenance we did last time has done it some good. I'm assuming you're following me actually, because you're on the lens, aren't you? And I will have pressed the follow me button when I did the editing. So you're watching me now cleaning my hands, possibly with a little bit of shimmer because we're going through the side of the two 360 lenses. So it's an Insta360 camera I'm using at the moment with the 360 lens on, not the Carl Zeiss 1.1¼ inch lens. Right, so we can get this thing turned off now. Didn't use anything special in there, just washing up liquid this time. So we'll just put that out of the way, get cleaned up, and on to the next one. I think the giant e-bike's coming back for another service. So look forward to that one. Look at me when I'm talking at you. Yay! controlling you on the camera. On the phone, zoom in. You can even go, hey, follow me, tracking. Is it going to track me? No, is it? Look at this. Tracking. Come on, track me. That's rubbish. It says tracking, but I don't actually think it's tracking because when I go around here, it's not tracking me. Anyway, right, we're waffling now. Like and subscribe. Doesn't take a moment of your time, really. Doesn't cost you anything. Will help the channel out tremendously. Don't lose my nipples. Importantly, don't lose the nipples. And look forward to seeing you in the next one. Hope that's been helpful. Bye.